Men's top 25 hoops on Sunday. Number 19, Wisconsin improved to 7-0 with an 81-75 victory over Pitt. Georgia beat number 22 St. John's 66-63. Kennesaw State with a 79-77 win over number 24 Rutgers. On the top 25 slate tonight, number 2 UConn takes on Memphis. Number 4 Auburn squares off with number 5 Iowa State. Number 10 North Carolina battles Dayton. Number 20 Arkansas takes on Maryland Eastern Shore. Number 25 Illinois faces Little Rock. Monday Night Football, a battle between the Ravens and the Chargers. Baltimore 7-4, the Chargers 7-3. The Ravens are second in the AFC North. The Chargers riding a 4-game winning streak, second in the AFC West. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
It's the week of Thanksgiving, so you're a little busy. Here's something you can check off your list. Holiday shopping at Macy's. Because Black Friday is happening right now. You don't have to wait until Friday to get the season's best savings on the best gifts. You don't even have to wait until the end of this message. Head over to Macy's now and save big. If you go to Macy's.com, you can get your gifts shipped for free when you spend $25 or more. That's one less thing on your to-do list. Exclusions apply. See Macy's.com for details.
After you use Bounce Dryer Sheets and realize how fresh, soft, less wrinkled, and less staticky your laundry can be, you'll put a sheet on it every time. Like those socks that smell like they've been through a marathon. Put a sheet on it. Or that blanket that's got wrinkles on its wrinkles. Put a sheet on it. Maybe even your chatty coworker who keeps distracting you. Okay, Bounce Dryer Sheets can't do it all. But for fresher, softer, better laundry, put a sheet on it with Bounce.
Winning is no accident.
You gotta be smart about it.
It takes a plan. All centered around expert analysis and trusted information.
That's what you get.
Right here. The Winning Edge. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The only place in football where the offense is always on the field is on Moneyline. With the two best hosts in radio, Donnie Rightside.
If anybody wasn't watching, listen, I don't know what you were doing.
And Kevin Walsh.
Forget act like you've been there before.
On the SportsGrid Radio Network, SiriusXM Channel 159.
Oh, the best hour every day now officially underway, and what a week it is. It's going to be Feast Week, Thanksgiving week, my favorite time of the year. I'm Donnie Rightside, he's Kevin Walsh. This is Moneyline. Thank you guys for tuning in, giving us all the love and support, because today, boy, do we got hot topics. And 1 hour sometimes just isn't enough. So we got to kick it off and get after it right away. But before we do that, KW yesterday missed PFT. Swept the board on best bets yesterday. He was a fan in enemy territory yesterday for Manja. That's Tommy Cutlett's debut, if you want to call it. My goodness, more like a butt kicking yesterday.
They destroyed that team. That was college football style, man. Like, Baker threw for 295, Donnie. I think he threw for about 30 yards in the second half. Like, that's what Carson Beck, looks like playing up against like Tennessee Tech. They embarrassed that team, both sides of the football. And the one thing that didn't come in, I saw Blue was on it. Trust me, Donnie,
yes,
like Mike Evans anytime touchdown. Like the fact that they were like, nah, all the running backs can get one. Was pretty surprising, but man, they destroyed them. They really did, and good for the Bucs. They look good. The Giants are obviously finished. I just think what is happening to me is Shane and Dable keeping their jobs is more impossible as the games go on. Like, you saw the Neighbors comment there, DRS, where he's like, it's not the quarterback. No, I don't know what it is, guys. I mean, I don't know why we're asking me questions, but I just know it's not the quarterback.
30-7 route in that game. And you're right about it, because when you're lining up the Giants, like, hey, Dable and Shane are going to be safe. And I kept saying to myself, like, you signed on the dotted line that Daniel Jones had to be a really good quarterback, or both of you guys were going to be out of here. And he was a bad quarterback, and then you went to Cutlets. Now you're getting to the point now, because you can't fire the owner. He's always going to be the owner. But when you start being embarrassed, that's when plans start to change.
Like if it's like, hey, they fought hard down the stretch, picked up a win here, lost close games. That game at home yesterday where they got physically embarrassed, that now starts to go on the head coach. And you're right about Neighbor's comments there. He didn't come out and say, well, we're fighting hard. Coach putting us in the right position. We're just not making plays. He was basically like, Thanksgiving's this week, Christmas. I want to enjoy myself. Like, this team stinks. And trust me, it's not the quarterback, which means he was basically saying it's not the players. It's we're not even ready or prepared to play in these games, and it's showing across the board.
Yeah, 1,000%. With that, though, it was a nice experience, Donnie, being there. It was fun to be at the game. Live football, you know it better than anybody. Yep. It's a good time. If you can get, the situation to break your way. I'll tell you, I'll give you a spoiled problem, if you will, though.
Mm-hmm.
So the Jets and the Giants at MetLife have a thing called the 50-50 Club.
Okay.
And when I got tickets I went to a Bucs-Jets game prior, right, in the preseason last year, and happened to buy tickets in section what is 139 because it's behind the opponent's bench, Donnie. And at the Jets game, I didn't even know this when I bought the tickets, automatic access to the 50-50 Club the whole game. I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
When I was looking to buy the tickets for her and I to go to the Giants game, I said, man, I'd love to try and, do the 50-50 again if we could. Boom, section 139. Awesome. I get in. They go, yeah, that's how Jets games work. Giants game are way different. Sitting in 139 doesn't get you anything. You need a reservation or you could pay extra to get it. Are you kidding me?
Is it just a club lounge like level? Is that what it is? The 50-50 Club?
You get to go in and there's the whole buffet going. And
so
obviously
that's included in your ticket?
For the Jet game, Donnie, it's included in the ticket.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that?
Full buffet, Donnie. You get to walk out into this little like patio, like almost field access where you could not be closer to the Bucs bench, right?
Wow.
So to me, Donnie, I'm like, this is so worth it. You get to the Giants game and it's no good. Now, here's what was interesting. There was a guy like kind of working the door, being real rude to people. Now, Donnie, like at one point, he's like, is this a Jets game? I go, why are you talking to me like that? Like, I just, really not in the mood now because I'm finding out information out. And all of a sudden, he started hold on. All I'm just saying is, so here's how it works. He started to flip around a little. But when we went inside, there was a number of other Bucs fans, Donnie. Every single one of them was like, yeah, the guy at the door was the rudest person I've come across like in my life, which I don't know if he was just trying to like get after Bucs fans or something, Donnie, but it was interesting. But now, it was still a really, really great time.
Bucs gear? Were you in Bucs gear?
Oh, absolutely.
That's
absolutely.
I don't understand that though. Explain it to me. Explain why you're in Bucs gear.
Here's how I would explain it though, right, DRS? Yeah. Like, for you, to my best understanding, the missus doesn't really care, right?
Yeah.
Like whatsoever.
Correct.
Where for me,
stuff, but yes, she doesn't have any other affiliation anywhere else. Yes.
Right. For me, like the amount at which I'm an Eagle fan, she is a Buck fan. So listen, like when they play one another, Donnie, it is what it is. But when her and I went to the Eagle game, like fully Eagles gear, right? Like Donnie, like last night, show of respect. Like we got home from the Bucks game, and the Go Bird shirt went on as we sat down watching, Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley and Jalen Carter get after it on a Sunday night. So I understand for you it would be a no-go. I totally get it. But for me, within the house, it's how we do things, which I'm okay with.
Yep. Like in my house, it'd be like, hey, can we go to the Bucs game? They're playing the Giants. I'm like, I got to work. Not taking off work for that. Tried, couldn't get tickets. Wait, I'm online right now. There's no. Trust me. That's a fake site. You can't put your credit card in there. There are no tickets available to a Buccaneers-Giants game at this point. That's how it will be played out, certainly in my household. But by the way, you talking about playing out my household last night. I was geeked. I was ready. I knew how big a game that was for the Eagles, and I've been saying, all you have to do is go 1-1 over the next 2 weeks because why? The Washington Commanders are going to have an easy victory on Sunday, and you can't lose this game to the Rams because you have the Ravens on deck, let alone the watch. Washington get beat by the Dallas Cowboys, who showed in with half the football team that they had the week before,
where Houston absolutely embarrassed them. If there was one shocking performance over this weekend, if you'd have said, Donnie, what's one football team that absolutely won't lose? I would have told you it's the Commanders yesterday.
Yeah, here's my thing, right?
Good.
Upsets happen, within divisions happen. The most stunning thing, Donnie, that is going to happen this year is Bo Nix getting handed the Offensive Rookie of the Year trophy. That is going to be the most. I'll tell you this right now. Season ended today. Why are we giving it to Jaden Daniels over Bo Nix? Like he had, like Donnie, Jaden Daniels won, if in air quotes, the award, right? Because of a
Cincinnati
play
game?
that never should have happened. No, the
With
Bears
Hail Mary?
game.
Yeah.
Right? That should have never happened. He has been atrocious since. And if you're telling me it's because he's injured, they don't judge it on what you did when you were at your 100%. I'm sorry. That's not how it works. Like, I'm actually surprised Daniels is still a favorite. I really am.
I left the house. Again, you know what? Not getting ready for the 425s. Let me walk the dogs. Didn't have a lot of tickets in my pocket cash and sort of upset. I'm like, man, how could I really whiff on a total of over 58.5 for Terry McLaurin? And I see on my phone, the first thing that pops up, one of my followers like, oh my goodness, Dallas, what are you doing? It's like, oh, what'd they do? Onside kick or something like that? The fact that it was McLaurin on like an 80-plus yard touchdown catch just made me laugh. And that set off the tone for what I'm going to tell you next, where chef's kiss, baby. Big tickets coming to town for your boy DRS. We'll be right back.
Sports happens every day. Trust us.
It does.
And we give you the winning edge every day.
You see where we're going with this?
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
A civil air patrol plane crash in Colorado has killed the aircraft's pilot and an aerial photographer. With the SportsGrid News Flash, I'm Trey Westerberg. The crash had occurred in Larimer County on Saturday, killed pilot Susan Wolber and aerial photographer Jay Roten. The aircraft was on a routine training mission at the time of the crash. The co-pilot, Randy Settelgren, was injured and was airlifted to a medical facility via helicopter by the Colorado Army National Guard. A former Florida detective accused of severely beating a black man has been sentenced to 25 years in federal prison for sexually exploding a teenage girl. A federal judge in Jacksonville sentenced 35-year-old Josue Garriga of St. Augustine on Monday. He pleaded guilty in July to enticing a child to engage in sexual activity. Garriga is one of 3 Jacksonville officers being sued in federal court for beating Lakean Woods last year after he ran from a traffic stop. I'm Trey Westerberg with the SportsGrid News Flash.
I got a line.
He got a line.
She got a line.
We got 4 lines. Cricket Nation. Cue finger guns. Really easy. Super stress-free. 5G so fast, like blazing fast. Games and memes. You'll have a blast. You can get fast 5G across 4 lines. You can get fast 5G across 4 lines. As we discuss, take it from us. We 4R1 Cricket Nation.
And only $25 a line. Welcome to more lines. Welcome to Cricket Nation. Smile. You're on Cricket.
Cricket 5G requires a compatible device and is not available everywhere. Discount varies by line. Fees may apply. Terms and restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
Not sure how much you know about Progressive Insurance. You may know us for insuring your home and auto. You may know a couple of our commercials. But what you may not know is that since 2013, Progressive has been honoring veterans with vehicle donations through the annual Keys to Progress Veteran Vehicle Giveaway Program, giving back to those who gave so much. Now, you probably didn't wake up today saying, I really wish I knew more about Progressive Insurance, but this seemed like the type of thing people wouldn't mind hearing about. Find out more about how we're dedicated to our customers and communities at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Let's make something crystal clear. The winning edge has nothing to do with increasing good luck. Luck has nothing to do with it. It's sports gaming strategies and information. You want luck? Flip a coin. You want to win?
Flip it here.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Hurry back, I am yours.
Chef's kiss. Sometimes you bet. You say, you know what, let me just leave the team out of it. It doesn't matter who wins as long as you're getting your prop bets. A case in point for me yesterday in the game, I also was very shocked that we had a final score of 32-27, and that's the Titans beating the Texans. Unbelievable. And even in that game, too, where I said yesterday we were doing Pro Football Today, I said, what's going to happen in this game? I could see it being close in the first half, and it was. But Will Levis always is going to give something away. Damn it, doesn't he throw that pick six? I'm like, oh, this game is over. Will Levis stinks. I can't believe he's a quarterback. Only to see them win, which now I start my focus on the Texans and what's actually wrong with them. Before I get there, though, it's like, you know what?
Fanatics, love you. Give me 40% boost. By the way, I had 5 boosts yesterday. 140, 220s, 10s, like a bunch of stuff yesterday. Fantastic. So let me own up and just put in a couple parlays. So I put 2, 1 lost, which was in the Washington game, which the key contributor was Brian Robinson Jr. I thought was going to have a big game. He ends up getting injured with an ankle injury, knocked out, so blew that one up. So, okay, let me switch it over to the Texans. 2 touchdown passes for C.J. Stroud, over 80 receiving yards for Nico Collins, and 20 receiving yards for Dalton Schultz. Early in the game, you get the quick touchdown pass out of CJ. Loved it. Even threw a touchdown pass to Nico. I'm like, why did I just take Nico to get a touchdown? Now, the odds would have been a little bit less because it's technically a correlation. Throw 2, he catches 1, right? So it's like, all right, I might have missed on that. Nico starts to explode. He's got 65 yards, but Schultz only has 4 in the first half. Second half, Nico gets it right away. I'm like, oh, my goodness, man. Schultz is going to let me down. So you know how I think sometimes. I'm scouring books like, can I get an under on Schultz at whatever it would be to try to salvage some money back? I'm like, you know what? Just let it ride out. It's going to be less than it anyway. Don't just do this. He had 1 catch for 16 yards late in the fourth quarter. It hit 20 exactly. And the thing I love about some books out there, they pay you immediately once you get that 20. Not like, well, let's see if he catches a swing pass for -1 and you lose. It paid me out right away. It was $100 to win like six something on there. So that buoyed my day right away. It was fantastic. But the bigger picture, Kevin, the Texans. Yeah. 7-5, they'll probably still win their division, but I expected better out of CJ this year.
Yeah, but like Donnie, they gave up 32 points to Will Levis. Will Levis was out there at one point in that game. I don't know, like what, 16 and because you no matter what, I was keeping eyes, right? Like 16 and 19, $160, 2 tuds. Like I mean, I don't know. I think
beast mode.
Did they get Will Anderson back yesterday, Donnie?
They did.
Like, that's
yes.
Like I didn't have the injury reports and things like that.
Yeah.
Like Houston's been struggling with some health. It's one of those things, DRS, where the fully healthy Texans I felt could hang. The fully healthy Texans aren't a thing. They're never a thing. They weren't a thing last year. They're not a thing this year.
I just was pretty stunned by that. And 2, also, Joe Mixon, 14 carries, 22 yards. What is going on?
Some of the shine's coming off that, Donnie. Some of the shine getting taken back a little bit. Not so sure on that one.
It really is. Like Mixon was just like, oh my goodness. Like I knew he would be a solid back, but not in a top 3 mentality at this point. So he takes a step back. And again, I still think they win that division because I don't think anybody's good enough there, which includes the Colts, who went backwards again in a big way. And by the way, if you are looking at defensive turnarounds and say it can't happen in the NFL, 1 and 2, Eagles and Detroit, sieves last year, Kevin, almost lights out this year. So I want to give another shout out to the Detroit Lions. I actually thought 7.5 was a pretty good number in Indy, and Indy hung around for the most part. But boy, oh boy, like Detroit's defense is just sensational now.
Yeah, here's the thing. It will take me longer than everyone else to believe their defense is this good. But I am even coming around to where I would evaluate them. Like, I fully refuse to think that is the best defense in football. No chance. That's preposterous. But they have a good defense this year, right? They do. They have a good defense this year. And for Detroit, that is all that they're looking for. That is all they're hoping to have. And the run defense was phenomenal. They completely bottled up Jonathan Taylor in that football game. And what was a pretty good spot for the Colts, they couldn't take it. Scored first, couldn't take advantage whatsoever. And I think that's the one thing we have seen from Detroit, man, is like the old school good versions of Kansas City, Donnie.
Yes.
You need to score to beat them. You are not beating them with 17 points. Like I know that is what Tampa Bay did in the one game that which the Lions lost this year. The Lions had like 500 yards of offense.
Yes. They just couldn't score.
So it was a real outlier performance. You are going to need to score this year to beat Detroit.
Like I just love the effort. And there is a collision course between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Detroit Lions here going into it. But I just thought that was one of those, like Jared Goff measured 26 of 36, 269, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Ground game really powered through. Montgomery got in, which I bet to score an anytime touchdown. Then he gets injured, so at least he got that job done for me yesterday. But I just look at that Lions team. They're going to take on the Chicago Bears on Thursday. Double-digit favorites in that one. We're going to get to that Vikings-Bears game in just a second, but I do think we owe it to
kick it off with the Philadelphia Eagles last night and what they actually showed the nation. 37 points in a game where Jalen Hurts was like, you know what? Let me just be efficient at quarterback. It's hard to try to put into words because the free agent market for running backs, which the year ago before this one was like, we'll pay running backs $1 and they'll like it. And the running backs are like, hey, we got to have a conference call. This isn't going to go our way. I'm like, well, I guess if you prove it on the field, but running backs getting paid might be a thing of the past. Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, absolutely phenomenal, which brings me to Saquon Barkley. It feels to me with that offensive line, Kevin, he is so close to breaking runs every single play where it's like, ooh, just got clipped on the ankle or nice tackle on the outside. But when he hits it, who can I go back to with this? Because I know Derrick Henry does have some long runs, but the Derrick Henry's runs don't look the same necessarily as Saquon Barkley. The ability, if you've ever played football before and understand how hard it is to juke one guy, let alone let me run through the middle of your defense, step through, step here, jump cut here, boost here, and then I'm faster than everybody else. His runs are a absolute thing of beauty.
They 100% are. Make no mistake about it, this is the best season of his career, which is showing, what the Philadelphia situation has created for him. And again, giving the MVP to who deserves it has stopped for a while now. Yes. Saquon is very, very in the race, and the odds reflect it.
No, he is. We're going to take a look at those latest odds and also Offensive Player of the Year. Could it be? We'll be right back on Moneyline.
We dispense little pearls of wisdom, just like dear old dad when he secretly let you taste his beer when you were 8 years old. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
Coming into the arena now, Sugar Ray Leonard, the challenger.
1980, Sugar Ray Leonard regains his WBC welterweight crown when Roberto Duran says no mas in the 8th round.
Duran has quit! Roberto Duran has quit! Pandemonium in the ring!
For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
In case you've been worried about AI taking your job and destroying the world economy, perhaps fear not. A large, well-known fast food chain is quietly dropping its AI-powered drive-through automated order-taking system after some mishaps.
Would you like extra sauce with your 2,100 orders of chicken nuggets?
Believe it or not, these are actual scenarios.
I'm sure you asked for 40 dozen pounds of butter.
The fatal flaw? Voice recognition AI that can't identify misidentified spoken orders.
I just want you to know that I have complete confidence in the long-term success of this mission. By the way, here is your 4-gallon van of bacon cobbed caramel ice cream.
Yahoo! Follow me at Chicapalbo on X and stay tuned to The Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
The early line.
The Denver Broncos, sometimes you want to show what a team is made of. And this is why Sean Payton is a great coach. You lose in devastating fashion this week. You get home and absolutely play probably your best football game of the season. That shows you a guy that's won a Super Bowl before and has the ear of that locker room and understands, hey, we let one slip away. Let's not let 2 games slip away. They were fantastic. Credit to that locker room and the head coach.
It's the early line with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network. Don't be that guy.
You know the kind.
They're superstitious, carry good luck charms, and have extravagant rituals to win. There's an easier way.
Listen to us.
It means carrying 4-leaf clovers everywhere.
Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
We're playing mystery guest with Kevin Walsh here in a second to try to find some information from yesterday on what game we did. A bet crossed the line yesterday, which I cashed a ticket in.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now was it like a show play or like one of my, you saw me retweet out like a ticket that I had?
One of your show plays cashed in this game. But the side in this game, if we're honest with ourselves, easiest bet of the NFL season.
Easiest bet of the NFL season yesterday. Now, it can't be the Chiefs. It was Chiefs-Panthers?
Come on. You know it is.
Yeah, because I was the 11.5. Yes, I have a. By the way, I went 7-0 in my pool last week against the spread.
Awesome.
It looks like I'm going to be 6-1 this weekend again. So having a good run
Whoa.
on sides. One of them, yes, was 11.5 with the Carolina Panthers. And I remember
that's
the best
what I
thing,
like to hear.
you know, good friend of the show, big man on campus. Like we always tweet like Sunday morning, like, what do you like? What do you think? So we go over like false flag games. And he sent me one. The one I sent right back is Carolina Panthers is sticking out now. And he said, look, I hear you, but I don't care. Like, I'm not going to take the Chiefs, obviously, but I'm never going to step in front of bet a Panthers game because of how bad they are. So I said, all right, we'll see how it plays out. So you see the first, I was like, oh, look at this. Kansas City really wants to show that there's something. They put their foot down right away, moving the football with ease. And then that second half, which we talk about so much, and I love to say it. Oh, we're up 2 touchdowns, 10 points. Get back into the game. It's no big deal. And didn't it play out? Carolina drives the length of the field, touchdown, 2-point conversion. And I was out again. I wasn't watching the game live, just getting the updates on my phone. I laughed to myself going like, let me watch the next 2 updates where Kansas City goes dip, 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 right in the field goal range and wins this football game. And they did that. Sooner or later, they have to be vanquished for what they do. You're not supposed to say, let me hang around and then the game's okay. You know what? Well, let's go quickly down the field and end this thing. And they can do that. And it pisses me off. But yes, anybody yesterday goes, you know what? Give me the Chiefs with the points because Carolina stinks. We're doing it wrong out here, people.
You're just way wrong. Way, way wrong. And again, I'm not going to sit here, Don, and act like I bet a small fortune on Carolina.
Yes, correct.
But, Donnie, since I didn't do the show, I didn't have my usual level of preparation, right, Donnie, heading into a slate. I didn't need it to know I needed to bet Carolina catch an 11 before I walked into the stadium. And they didn't even cover the whole way. And there was, to me, never a doubt in my mind that they were covered. The Chiefs going to cover double digits on the road. Like,
are you a meaningful game on the road the week previous?
And I saw some Donnie out there like, oof, KC going to be extra focused off the loss. What are you talking about? No, they're not. They're going to be even less. Like they don't care, man. They do not care about winning some game by 35 points. Or maybe they're not capable. I don't know which it is. Here's my other takeaway from that game, though, Donnie. I'm starting to think Bryce Young's going to save his job in Carolina.
Yeah, because where are you going? And also hearing the footprints now from a lot of people, Kevin, like, hey, you might think there's decent quarterbacks in college football. We're telling you this is a down year. So usually it's like we're going to tank to get a Trevor Lawrence, an Andrew Luck, a Caleb Williams, who, again, we'll see how he turns out. But, like, the generational guys that can't miss, like, yes, we'll throw a quarterback out. Like Josh Rosen for the Arizona Cardinals. Just drafted you basically in the top 10, but there is a generational guy we think in Kyler Murray who, if he's there, we are taking him, and they did, and they bounced the other quarterback out. You're right. I don't know if they give up on him, but he's clearly not the issue with that football team anymore than maybe we thought he was earlier on in his career.
I think it also could maybe be he actually has some trade value now. Like maybe there's a franchise that would be willing to take him on. I'm not going to act like he was flawless, right, within that football game. Certainly the numbers don't jump off the page like that, but I don't know. It seems like he might be able to keep his job within Carolina, which I think is pretty interesting. I don't know. I love seeing that team didn't cover. They were never going to cover. Come on.
Never. But by the way, getting back to a cover, Philadelphia Eagles last night, absolutely tremendous. Jalen Hurts, 15 of 22, passer rating of 108, only 179 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. Why? He didn't need to do anything. And by the way, he did make some quality plays with his legs multiple times in that game. But we are going to come up against the break. But I got to ask you this. End of the first half, 13-7 Eagles. Get the ball around midfield. And I watched this, and I also, Kevin, I know you're a college football guy. I watched what the Eagles did, which was questionable. And then I saw what Arizona State was doing and said, sometimes we make football so much harder than it actually is, which could cost your team a game and or points. Let me talk about the Philadelphia Eagles at the end of that first half and also get Kevin's take on a couple college things, which included Arizona State. What the hell are you doing out there on the field? We'll be right back in Moneyline on a Monday.
Attitude is everything.
Don't say I lost today.
Say, I gain powerful insight into why I need to pay attention to SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. Shop Chuck Sanders. Men's top 25 hoops on Sunday. Number 19, Wisconsin improved to 7-0 with an 81-75 victory over Pitt. Georgia beat number 22 St. John's 66-63. Kennesaw State with a 79-77 win over number 24 Rutgers. On the top 25 slate tonight, number 2 UConn takes on Memphis. Number 4 Auburn squares off with number 5 Iowa State. Number 10 North Carolina battles Dayton. Number 20 Arkansas takes on Maryland Eastern Shore. Number 25 Illinois faces Little Rock. Monday Night Football, a battle between the Ravens and the Chargers. Baltimore 7-4, the Chargers 7-3. The Ravens are second in the AFC North. The Chargers riding a 4-game winning streak, second in the AFC West. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
It's the week of Thanksgiving, so you're a little busy. Here's something you can check off your list. Holiday shopping at Macy's. Because Black Friday is happening right now. You don't have to wait until Friday to get the season's best savings on the best gifts. You don't even have to wait until the end of this message. Head over to Macy's now and save big. If you go to Macy's.com, you can get your gifts shipped for free when you spend $25 or more. That's one less thing on your to-do list. Exclusions apply. See Macy's.com for details.
Beat the Black Friday rush and shop Thanksgiving Day savings at Lowe's. For one day only, get up to 60% off online-only deals. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get early access to Black Friday doorbusters, like the Cobalt Mini Toolbox for just $12.98. Join for free today, because Lowe's knows deals. Thanksgiving Day event, out 11/28, only on Lowe's.com. Member-only doorbusters and midnight Eastern. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for details. Subject to change while supplies last.
What's the big deal about a rabbit's foot?
I mean, how is that lucky?
Ever seen a bunny amputee on crutches? It's upsetting and scares little kids. Don't rely on luck.
Get the winning edge.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Questionable decisions by coaches. 7 seconds to go, midfield. All right, what do you do? Probably roll Jalen Hurts out. Say to yourself, all right, let's see if we can pick up 15 yards. We still have a timeout left. If it's incomplete, it's no big deal because the ball's at the opposing team's 49, too far for your field goal, and away you go. Or what a lot of players would have done, or teams, hey, you know what? And I thought they were setting it up. They had shotgun. They had, I think, a running back and a tight end on each side of Jalen Hurts. I go, oh, here comes. It's Hail Mary. They're going to buy a little bit of time. He's going to scramble in the pocket, burn 2 seconds extra, and then throw it up in the air and see if they can get something. Instead, they run a draw, which lost yards. But they didn't lose enough where it was field goal range. But I was almost deep down in myself, I hope he lost enough where it's okay, 62-yard field goal is good. I'm like, that was the worst scenario I've ever seen. So before you answer on that, we're going to couple that with Arizona State, who, correct me if I'm wrong, was inside the 10-yard line and wound up at the 50. And then instead of just running a normal play, you step back in the pocket, which I almost thought could have been called intentional grounding, where you throw it into the stands, but there's 1 second left. And then Dillingham's upset. Understand why the game isn't over when it's clear that there's 1 second left on the clock, and his time management was atrocious. What did you think about start with the Arizona State game? I was just complete in awe of how they played that game to finish it.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, DRS. I didn't have the best eyes on it. I was well, Donnie, it was a busy weekend out of me. I was on the wrestling on Saturday.
Who was the headliner, by the way, at the wrestling? Who was it?
The main event was Mox against Orange Cassidy.
Wow.
But Ospreay had the best match of the night. No surprise.
No surprise.
But, man, Donnie, it was one of those things, trying to play catch up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm I don't know what's going on here. And then I see a picture of a field goal post. I'm like, what is happening right now? But it felt like a whole lot of stuff just to get to the same obvious result that Arizona State was going to walk away with the win.
Let me tell you how it broke down here. Let me just make sure I have this correct here. First and goal with 56 seconds left to go. It looks like they ran for 4 yards. Talking about Arizona State, trying to use BYU's timeouts, right? Made some sense to get to the 3. And then second down, it says timeout. Third, so it's okay. So it's a little bit, because even the play-by-play is messed up here. But second down, Kevin, Sam Levitt loss of 26 yards. That's the quarterback.
Like, did they tell him to run backwards?
Yes, they told him to run backwards instead of like punching it. And keep in mind, Kevin, you're up 5.
Why not score? Yeah,
you're up 5. Hand the football off, run it into the line, no big deal, doesn't score. Hand the football, run it, no big deal, doesn't score. Even hell, Kevin, run into the football, 4th down doesn't score. It's a 5-point game. They're on their own 1-yard line. What are they going to do with that? But hear me out on this.
Yeah.
3rd down, Kevin, run for another 10-yard loss. Then take a delay of game. Then another one, Kevin, which pushes you back to the 50-yard line. Then you snap the football on 4th down, throw the football like a missile in the air like you're in the backyard into the stands, and it lands with 1 second left, which gave you a shot from midfield to throw a Hail Mary and beat you.
Yeah, that's just stupidity. I mean, nothing else to say. That is very, very dumb. I don't know.
Like, BYU uses like their let's just say first time. Let's just say you run it in with 45 seconds to go up 13 points, go for 2 and make it 14. The game is over.
Yeah.
As long as you don't run back to midfield, the game is essentially over. So they tried to play like, well, if I burn 8 seconds, 6 seconds, 8 seconds, it's going to be over. And they didn't manage the clock correctly, which put them at the 50 on 4th down and still had to run another play, which didn't kill all the clock. Tremendous.
Yeah. No, come on. And here's the deal, man. I saw you were kind of popping off with the Big 12.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like, it is unfortunate that we are still not going to get this right. You know, the Big 12, Donnie, I want people to understand this.
Yes.
I have an over 1.5 Big 12 teams to make the playoff bet preseason. I should be the person screaming about SEC bias or get Indiana out of there. And we can talk about all these topics. The Big 12 is lucky if they get a team in the playoff. That's the reality of it.
Don't they have to, though? They have to, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And they are lucky, Donnie, that they are getting even just that.
Yes.
Like, the Big 12 is not being unfairly treated.
Correct.
It is not. And in a more expanded playoff, they would have more contenders. But in a 12-team playoff, look, the Big 12 is, I think people need to understand something. The Big 12 is having a massively down season. The first, 3 choices via the odds were Utah, Kansas State, and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State hasn't won a single Big 12 game. Utah lost Cam Rising, 6 quarters into the season. K-State kept finding a way to put bad losses on their schedule. Arizona was supposed to be good. The offense hasn't even been good, which has been totally insane. So 4 of the top 5 teams preseason, Donnie, aren't even good. So, of course, it is going to be difficult then to crack into the playoff when your best teams almost all had bad seasons. And it's going to then clear the pathway out for other conferences to load the box, if you will.
Let me ask you this question, too, because this always comes up with a common theme. And you have to separate your sports, right? The fun about March Madness, Kevin, is 68 teams get in. In college football, 12 teams get in. The charm of it is smaller schools trying to be upset bidders. But at the same time, you get 35 unbelievably talented top-level teams where you argue does the 36 team get in. So it's a little bit different. That's the charm of the tournament. When did we get the point here? And I get accused of this because I stick up for the SEC more than any other conference. You don't have a dog in the fight. My team's Miami Hurricanes in the ACC, skating along with an easy schedule, needs to beat Syracuse, who's not a good football team, but anybody against Miami feels like a good football team. But that's neither here nor there. I find myself saying, I thought we were football fans. And what I mean by that is, Kevin, when we get to the playoff, give me the best 12 teams in the country battling out for the playoffs. And I feel like some people don't understand or even like that take. Like, if it was to me, the best 12 teams were in the Big 12, put them all in. Understand it's not happening. It's just being, just throwing it out there. Same thing with the Big 10, ACC, or whoever it might be. But why is and again, it's not everybody, but I see to get a lot of pushback. You just want it to be the SEC. No. I just want the best football teams to get in there. Like, were we better last year, Kevin, that Georgia got left out? of the college.
No.
Oh, that's the way it is. You know what? Georgia probably wins the national championship last year if they let them in the playoff year. But now, granted, you have 12 teams. It's understandably, but we saw this coming. Boise State might get in. Oh, that's really a lot of fun. But again, Indiana is a capable football team. I'm going to be pissed off if they make it. No, that's just the way we play it. But when did it get against true football fans? You just want to see the best teams go head-to-head. And apparently it's like, I'd rather BYU get in. I'd rather see teams like Washington State get in. They don't. Like, do you see what I mean? Like, when do we get to the point where we just want to see other teams get in because the normal teams are playing? It'd be like college basketball, Kevin. We always have to see Duke and Carolina in the tournament and the UConn. Like, let somebody else. Like, when we never say that, do we?
No, in fact, usually in college basketball, on the rare occasions the Blue Bloods, Donnie, have a down year, then it is followed up with, man, college basketball is better when North Carolina's good, right? Like, that's actually what you hear over there.
Correct.
Let me say this on Indiana, Alabama specifically, because I have a lot to say about it, and I don't know. Is Alabama better than Indiana?
Yes.
Probably. But here's the thing, Donnie. The Oklahoma loss changed things.
Yes.
And Bama is rightfully going to be ranked behind Indiana.
Correct.
And that's okay.
I agree. I 100% agree. No argument.
But there are people who are saying if Alabama gets into the playoff, that's a disgrace. Those people are talking about something from the preseason issues. 3-loss Bama. Go look at Bama's schedule with preseason expectations, Donnie, and tell me 3 losses is some level of disgrace. They have better wins still than most of these teams. Realistically, now Bama needs a lot of help, Donnie, but if they get the help, if Tennessee loses to Vanderbilt, then they belong into the playoffs.
The hot topics roll on Moneyline on a Monday. It's Donnie, it's Kevin, it's the SportsGrid Network. We'll be back.
Luck is throwing a wad of paper into the trash. Strategy is bouncing it off your coworker's head first.
Hey!
Strategy
is more cool.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders. Monday Night Football, a battle between the Ravens and the Chargers. Baltimore 7-4, the Chargers 7-3. The Ravens are second in the AFC North. The Chargers riding a 4-game winning streak, second in the AFC West. Men's top 25 hoops on Sunday. Number 19, Wisconsin improved to 7-0 with an 81-75 victory over Pitt. Georgia beat number 22 St. John's 66-63. Kennesaw State with a 79-77 win over number 24 Rutgers. On the top 25 slate tonight, number 2 UConn takes on Memphis. Number 4 Auburn squares off with number 5 Iowa State. Number 10 North Carolina battles Dayton. Number 20 Arkansas takes on Maryland Eastern Shore. Number 25 Illinois faces Little Rock. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
There are Black Friday deals, and then there are Kohl's Black Friday deals. Where else can you get 40% off Levi's, up to 50% off Sephora fragrances, and home favorites for under $10 all in the same place? And it gets better. You can score extra Kohl's cash with $15 earned for every $50 spent. Get 15% off some of your finds, and save even more with limited time doorbusters, like 50% off toys. Select styles. Offers end November 29th. Coupons do not apply to Levi's employees. Coupons and Kohl's cash do not apply to Sephora. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Welcome to Staples.
Help! My family's in for the holidays and I need gift ideas.
That's why we're here. Staples has amazing deals on everything you need. Photo gifts, laptops, and gaming systems. Even custom holiday cards and shipping solutions to send gifts to the family that can't make it.
Perfect. Have anything for Uncle Frank? I love him, but the guy is never quiet.
Noise-canceling headphones. For you.
You get it.
Unwrap huge holiday savings at Staples. And right now at Staples, save up to $350 on select computers. Ends 12/28, in-store only.
Every real player will tell you somewhere
they have an advantage.
It could be either physical, mental, or both. In your case, it's strategies and information you get right here.
The home of the winning edge.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Right back at it, people. By the way, the Hardball Bowl tonight out in Los Angeles. So high. Back-to-back big performances, which gives the Eagles a little bit of an advantage because last night they played in L.A. They're already back home. Tonight the Ravens play. Then they got to fly back. But it is a good game we'll talk about in just a few moments. But leaving off some things in college football was a fun weekend overall. I got to tell you, you know what's interesting? And sometimes you change your thought process now, because the first time we've ever seen a 12-team playoff in college, how losses affect and how the committee is actually going to reward those losses or dock you for those losses. And I do think they're sort of getting away from it. It used to always be like, look, the 0 means something. You're unbeaten. You're going to get the nod typically over a team with 1 loss. Now, last year was extenuating circumstances. Florida State lost their quarterback, and rightfully so. The committee just absolutely nailed that. Just nailed it at that point. Leaving Florida State out, they were an embarrassment. But this year, I feel like if you have 2 losses as opposed to 1, they'll still be like, you know what? You played a tougher schedule. You can move up the list. Which the reason why I'm bringing this up is how it plays out into the national championship picture itself. Like, how do you feel about those 12 teams getting in? 1 loss is, because you even see like in the AP, there's a lot of 1-loss or 2-loss teams above 1-loss teams and whatnot. How do you feel about that changing of the guard this year, where it used to just be about, are you unbeaten? If you have 1 loss, you can't go.
Yeah, I think it's good. I still think the committee is really struggling with it, Donnie.
Yeah.
I think people are very uncomfortable arguing at the back, because, as I've been saying, the committee does not take any care or thought once they were in years prior, once they were done ranking, Donnie, the teams in contention. It was just the wild, wild west of what they were putting out there. And this year, obviously, it's been a lot more on their plate to try and figure out how to rank these teams. But I just want to make this point on Bama for people who think that, oh my God, if Bama gets in, it's such a disgrace. Preseason, we thought the Big 12 could have a few good teams. They have none. Preseason, we thought that the ACC was going to have these 3 powerhouses at the top. Well, instead, Florida State's the worst team I've ever seen, and Clemson is a notch above Bama right now, Donnie. I don't think they should be, personally. The ACC has 2 teams. That's just what it is. Notre Dame's been able to hold their water, stay in the race. They've been kind enough to put Boise inside the like Boise's going to end up the 4 seed, which I think will immediately show people how stupid the format is and needs some changes, because obviously we should never be putting Boise 4th in the country.
Real quick on that. Like, if we again equate this to college basketball, like Boise would be on like the the West number 1 seed, and you'd be like, wait a second now, or how can we because Gonzaga's a little bit different, they're a national power, but let's just say James Madison in college basketball or something, like a decent like mid-level team, like I know what, they're automatically a 1 seed out west.
Or how about this, Donnie? St. John's would be the 16 seed on the playing Purdue. You'd be like, what? Huh?
Yeah, correct.
No, they're the last team in. It's like, well, that doesn't matter. We understand they're the last team in, but we're not nuts here. We're not going to take Charleston and make them a 4 in the tournament. So that's all getting messed up here. Bama, to me, is the things didn't work well for Bama. Ole Miss losing to Florida, right? Like, so Ole Miss falls out of we currently have, if you just take the AP poll, we currently have a situation where there are going to be 3 SEC teams that get into the playoff. And there are people who think we are being like overly kind to the SEC. You are having preseason debates in November because you thought we were going to be overly kind to the SEC. And we are not doing that at all. Again, Notre Dame, I love them. They're a wagon. They're killing everyone. Lost at home to a MAC team and is going to be ranked inside the top 5. What are we talking about? If Bama, Donnie, lost at home to a MAC team, they'd have fired DeBoer on the spot, and people would still be holding that against them. Nobody even cares that Notre Dame lost to NIU.
It's true. No, it's right. It's just a wacky, wacky time at this point. By the way, you want to talk about, again, undefeated teams coming in. Army undefeated. You see when they level up in competition, they get absolutely leveled in a football game. And Notre Dame does look like an absolute wagon, specifically on defense. Shout out that line going from 13.5 as a team total to 14.5 around game time. That was nice because you would have got burned if you took it midweek. If you took it closer to game time, you would have hit the under team total on the Army Golden Knights. Now, let me take a look at this, Kevin. We were talking about the NFL regular season MVP and also Offensive Player of the Year. Saquon Barkley is the favorite at minus 320 to win the Offensive Player of the Year, and rightfully so. But he rocketed up the leaderboard to plus 650 at FanDuel, only behind Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. He's ahead of Jared Goff, agree. He's ahead of Mahomes, absolutely. He's ahead of Herbert, no doubt about it. Now you're going toe-to-toe with the two most talented quarterback specimens in Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Not taking anything away from Mahomes. He might be the best overall quarterback of them, but I'm just talking talent-wise, ability to be like, wow, that's a crazy play. The legitimate chance, like, what has to happen to Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Saquon Barkley to put Barkley in that one spot?
They probably have to beat the Ravens.
Yep.
Right?
That's one.
And then get to 2,000 yards. But the conversation's there. You know, the win-loss is gonna matter. We know the win-loss is gonna matter for sure.
Yeah.
But maybe he doesn't have to beat the Ravens, Donnie, but he has to play really well.
I think he does. No, because you know what beating the Ravens means? You beat Lamar Jackson. Not even Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
You beat Lamar Jackson.
No,
like
I
those
hear
head-to-heads. Like when Josh Allen beat Patrick Mahomes, where did he go? Boop, give me that spot. Let me move you ahead of it. I think they have to beat the Ravens.
I'll just tell you this right now. We are getting really, really close to me just crushing Lamar for the rest of his career. Because I've been a Lamar guy for a long time. But if I watch Lamar once again, Donnie, like have the people around him, like let's just say they do beat the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
But it's like a good defensive game. Lamar,
Yeah.
200 yards, a touchdown, a pick, and then like become the favorite to win MVP. I'm going to lose my mind. Like what happened on Christmas, if I watch that happen again, I'm going to go crazy.
Like the Coach of the Year market. Hey, I got a good team. I'm a great coach. Yeah, you can't be Coach of the Year, pal. I mean, nothing makes sense sometimes these awards market. It is what it is. One more segment to go on a Monday. Let's preview Monday Night Football next, right here on Moneyline.
Hands up and wave, get a drum or something. I already gave the summer.
SportsGrid is available on the radio, internet, TV, satellite, and our mobile app.
If you're not getting it,
ask the nerdy kid next door. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
Maybe you've heard of the infinite monkey theory. A monkey randomly typing on a typewriter for an infinite amount of time could eventually type out the complete works of Shakespeare.
Though this be madness, yet there is method in it.
A University of Technology in Sydney decided to test this theory. What would happen if a reasonable population of 200,000 monkeys all typing one letter per second until the end of time? The universe, a cold, dead cinder. The number 10 with 99 zeros, years. The answer? There's only a 5% chance that a single monkey would even type the word bananas.
So what you're saying is, it's not to be.
Follow me at Chicapalbo on X, and stay tuned to the Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
Football full circle.
I just think that the mindset has changed for Buffalo, right? They are start to finish a different team than they were in 2023. And as long as Josh Allen makes plays like he did yesterday and doesn't turn the football over, guess what? They have a good shot, great shot to make the number 1 seed this year.
It's Football Full Circle with Ben Stevens and Joe Lisi. Weekdays noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network. Newsflash, Sporto.
The pandemic is over.
Now you can roam free and do whatever you want. And with the SportsGrid mobile app, we'll be right there with you.
just take it easy. They'll confiscate your phone in jail.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
We're going to get to Monday Night Football here in just a moment. Ravens, Chargers, current line. Ravens, slight favorite, -2.5. Nice total, 50.5. We'll get some action tonight on the set. But a little college football, little background music for the college football. What do you got?
Yeah, which I like that. Now, I just want to let people know, because tonight, Donnie and I will be joined by Joe Lisi. And Joe Lisi Yes, I will be back. Joe Lisi, Don. My best bet on Saturday was Shedeur Sanders over 2.5 passing touchdowns. Right.
Yes.
And, you could tell I really like this one. Lisi, of course, as he does, he asks you about 3 or 4 times. What's your best bet? What's your best bet? You know what I mean?
Doesn't listen to what you're saying, but yes,
no.
I get you.
But for some reason, Donnie, that resonated with him. And he goes to me, and he's not kidding. He goes, I think you can get me in on that. You know what? I'll take Shedeur Sanders to throw for 400. Huh? Wait, hold on.
I got a good ready for. Yep, go ahead. Tell the story because I got another really good one for yesterday. You just chimed me into.
He then sends me the parlay. He goes, I'm backing you, and it's his best bet of Army plus 14.5. Shedeur to throw 3 touchdowns and to throw 400 yards in the parlay. I'd love for it to get there for him, right? But if he took him to throw 4 touchdowns, Donnie, right? It's like, all right, you took my best bet, you leveled it up. I have nothing to do with yardage here. I don't know why you're getting him to throw 4.
Yep, just up the ante. So yesterday we have our Sell Me Something segment. I went with Drake May to throw for 250 plus and 2 touchdowns. Finished with 220, which went over his number, and only 1 touchdown pass didn't come through. Well, Lisi picked Sam Darnold, and here's the best part about yesterday. Sam's behind the scenes as the getting the stuff together and setting up the graphics. So we start to Sell Me Something, and Joe's explaining his bet, and I'm looking at the graphic and I'm like, Joe, you didn't even bet that. Like, what are you even talking about right now? So, Joe can't see. He's like staring at the monitor going like, wait a second here. Because he wanted to give out Sam Darnold over 300-plus passing yards at a really good price. But the graphic said Sam Darnold 3+ touchdowns at a really good price. So what happens in the final? He throws for 330, but only 2 touchdowns. But the graphic made him choose his Sell Me Something as the 3 touchdowns. So again, the chat again, I was like, yeah, Joe, tough seeing you lost that, man. Tough L. And it's because he technically won. The graphics guy made him pick another bet, and he lost that bet, but won the other one. Oh, it made my day. It really made my day, man. It did.
That is fantastic. Oh, that is. Now I'm trying to think about, man. Again, I'm telling you, I popped in that opening segment, and the way he dressed something up, and I was like, I don't know about that, man. Maybe it was like Rams Eagles. Like, I'm not, I don't know. I don't know what it was, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I feel like it was maybe the NFC West, where he was just like, well, listen, the Niners are struggling, man, and you got a team like the Rams now leading the charge. It's like Arizona's playing good football. It's like Seattle's in first.
Yeah. No, he did like Arizona, yeah, which that was a tough game overall. Great defense by Seattle. But tonight, Baltimore and L.A., this is going to go a long way here because that misstep by the Pittsburgh Steelers on Thursday really kicks the door in for the Ravens, where you want to talk about momentum, go in there and beat the Chargers, beat the Eagles next week, and now you got like the Steelers backpedaling where they had a little bit of a cushion. Same thing when we talk about like the Eagles and the Washington Commanders. The thought process was, Eagles really tough game, layup for Washington. Oh, no, neck and neck down the stretch. The Eagles kick the door in right now, and I'd be shocked if Washington gets back up off the carpet. But what are your expectations tonight? Because it looks like we're going to get a good game, a lot of superstars, and some good amount of points here as 51s are now showing on the board.
Yeah, I'm torn here, man. I'm torn here because the Ravens are the type of team that we look at and go, they won't lose 2 in a row.
Correct.
But the Chargers playing really good football.
Yeah.
Right? It's a tricky game. I don't see me being on the side. I may end up on a Ravens team total over, though, Donnie.
Okay.
Not that I don't think the Chargers, kind of, again, from your school of thought, the Chargers can do their part, and I hope they do, to make sure that the Ravens continue to do their part, right? But I think, I haven't looked at the best number I can get, but I could probably get it to where 27's a winner. I could definitely get it, where 28's a winner there, 4 touchdowns. So I am interested in the Ravens offense because I think this Chargers defense has it's not a bad defense, Sonny. I don't know if they are elite on that side of the football, so I think it means the Ravens could have some success.
Yeah, I'm going to be cooking up some alts tonight for fun. Should be a fun game to watch in-game with a lot of live action. So we can't ask for better. We've had some clunkers in the past couple games.
Ravens and Chargers doesn't feel like it's going to be a clunker on Thanksgiving week. For JP behind the wheels of steel, Donnie right side, and Kevin Walsh, thanks for tuning in to another edition of Moneyline. We'll be back tomorrow.
Sure, you love the wife and kids,
but only we understand you.
We're your buddy.
Get the winning edge. Keep it here. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.